Hi everyone, I'm Rushlock, and this is a brief overview on OBS and how to set up for streaming with it. When you first bring up OBS, you're going to have a blank list here under Scenes and Sources. These are all my current ones I've set up. For today, I set up Path of Exile as a capture. So we have a black screen here. If I go back to it, go back to Display, shows you what I have on my desktop. To add these, you simply hit the plus button, and it'll ask you what you want to name it. You can name it, however you want. You can see what I've named mine here. Display is pretty straightforward. Idle is Idle Champions. PoE is Path of Exile. Eve is Eve Online. Once you have a scene named, you then want to add sources to it. So, for example, to make my desktop visible, so it wouldn't just be a black screen, I had to right-click, go to Add, and we added Display Capture. Let's say you want to capture a game like Path of Exile. I would go Add and do Game Capture, or maybe Window Capture, depending on certain games I have to capture certain ways. Window capture is down here. Let's see, you want to add things like Stream Boss or tips and bits trackers and things like that. Those will usually fall under browser source, and we'll see those in just a few moments. Or we might actually do those in a separate video. But use this as like a time to pause the video, compare your settings to what I have here for both mic and desktop audio. You'll have to change things to your own environment and hardware variables. We're not going to be the exact same physical setup for our hardware, so keep that in mind as well. But you can use this as a template and adjust as needed. Over here in controls, you have start streaming. I have start and stop recording because we're recording right now. Studio mode, settings. We're going to go into settings, and basically lets you take a screenshot of these different windows here and make sure that you have at least your base settings the same as mine, so that if you need help with troubleshooting, we can eliminate these variables and go further into looking for what could be giving you issues. General is pretty straightforward. You can read through these yourselves. It's nothing too crazy. Streaming, you need to pick your platform. I use Twitch. There's all kinds of Mixer I'm familiar with. YouTube, of course. Facebook has added video capture. Restream, if I'm correct on this, I believe allows you to stream on multiple platforms at one time. I haven't used it myself, but I've seen a lot of mentions of it recently. Twitter, Periscope, different platforms. Just pick which one you go to. Your server is your ingest. This is where you send data to when you are broadcasting. You're uploading, and that information has to go somewhere. For the Twitch side, or whatever platform you're using, Twitch has an Atlanta server, so that's where I push to. Your stream key or similar key will come from whatever platform. So I get my stream key from Twitch. If you're on a different platform, you'll of course get your key from them. Output. This is another one where you can kind of just screen capture it and move on. Something to note that if you are either a new streamer or an affiliate on Twitch or a partner with Twitch, you're going to have different bitrate options and variables there. Different platforms may have different rules. You'll have to look into your accounts page or maybe ask a customer service on that one. Every platform may be different. There might be a bit of a universal rule to it. I'm not sure. I've only used Twitch myself. I use 3000 bitrate. To kind of explain what that value means, think about what your internet package is. Let's say you have 100 down and 20 up, or if you're on DSL, you have like 5 down and a number going up that's irrelevant. Keep in mind for your viewers. So if I want someone on a DSL connection to be able to watch my stream, I don't want to push more than probably 3000 bitrate, maybe 3500. The user always has the option to scale down the resolution on their side, but every click they have to make your content accessible to them is a barrier or hurdle that they may or may not be willing to go. If it's somebody who's already established in your community and is going to make that click anyway, fantastic. But you're always looking for growth, so you don't want to create more artificial barriers for someone to join your community and interact. This is just my opinion on it. Go with what you feel is best, but be aware that certain bit rates are unavailable to certain users based on your status with the platform that you're using. So if I weren't a partner, I couldn't go, I think, maybe 4,000 or 5,000 bit rate. I think 2,500 or 3,000 is the limit. It'll take some research to get an exact number. But again, you should have gotten a screenshot by now of this window, and you can go from there. Recording, we've talked about this in a separate video, and you can go through the other tabs at your convenience. Nothing here is anything I use for live streaming myself. Audio. Something to be aware of is you want to typically manually set your hardware devices to actual selection instead of letting it just go to default. For example, I can take disable default or pick something from this list. I want to make sure that it's going to the item or the hardware device that I want it to go to. You can have primary and secondary outputs for your audio, 3 different mic auxiliary devices as well. So make sure you manually set these where you want. The rest of this is pretty straightforward. You can pause and use this as a reference if you need to. Next we have video. Obviously we get this because we're recording at the moment, but your resolution scale, your filtering, your FPS. A lot of this will come down to what your hardware can handle, so you might need to tweak as needed. If you have a concern about your hardware, do not hesitate to go to 720 resolution. A lot of viewers will be, well, I shouldn't say a lot, I don't have a scale number, but a significant number will be on mobile. And so they won't be able to benefit from the 1080 as much because a lot of your text will be small anyway. A lot of times mobile users are tuned in for the audio part. So if you're having hardware concerns, don't hesitate to scale down your resolution as needed. Hotkeys, I've never really said anything up for. I think this is interesting feature, just I haven't interacted with it, but it can be really handy for like switching scenes, I think. And then advanced. This is one you really definitely want to pause at and make sure you have the same settings. It's been a while since I've set this up, so it may not all be default, but I'm pretty sure that it is. But again, feel free to pause the video, take a look at it. And this is basically just eliminating variables. If you're having issues with the streaming and need help, you are always more than welcome to DM me on Discord, which will be linked down in the comment section, or I'm sorry, in the description. This video is mostly just a visual aid or a visual tool so that people can eliminate some of the variables at the very least. So when I was setting up PoE today, we're going to go to a black screen, and I'll show you guys that, let's see if I can get desktop to show up here. So we're on the PoE session here, on the scene, and I have all these sources here. If I take off desktop and go back to black screen, put it back on, we're good to go. Path I can toggle if I can capture the game. Goals, if I have like a Streamlabs goal or a Stream Boss, I can add there. These are all toggleable. You can do what you need to, as you need to, with those. Something, I guess, about capturing games. We'll use desktop as an example here. So, when you first capture something, it could be any variable size. Just click and drag it till it gets full screened. If you're playing something with an odd resolution where you can't perfectly get it this way, you're going to end up with like black lines to the sides or to the top and bottom, and you'll have to make your own decision on whether you want to hold down the shift key and manually stretch it out one way or the other. Pretend for the moment this had, unnaturally gone over here. We were stuck with this black line here at the bottom. I can hold down shift and pull the center node there, and it scales fine. This image isn't a great example because it already perfectly stretches out or scales out. Some games, especially older games, will have odd resolutions for you. And you can use that black space sometimes for overlay space, like if I have an extra area down here that I can put an overlay into and text information, that's fine too. There's no right or wrong of it, it's just what works best for you. That's all the basics. As always, if you have questions or need further help, I'm always accessible on Discord. Just tag me at Rushlock on the server or send me a DM and I will help you as soon as I'm able to. Anything other feedback you want to put into the comments down below, feel free to do so, and we'll see you all next time.